Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News broadcast. We are coming to you live from Rupavahini's News Studios. I'm Laan.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Binapurarachi. And now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The President says that the country needs a suitable education system for an economic transformation in the country. The GCE O-Level and A-Level examinations is scheduled to be held as usual by 2025. The health strike continues. The COPE committee reveals that the country has lost an income of billion rupees due to the delay of setting up the Casino Regulatory Authority. A loan scheme introduced for the mill owners to purchase paddy harvests in the Maha season. Renovation of 42 irrigational tanks in the remote areas in Hambantota district has been completed. Indonesian presidential and general elections were held today. Now for those and other stories in detail on your top story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the necessity of implementing a new education system to steer the country towards economic transformation, one that aligns with global standards and can cultivate professionals suited for the competitive world market.
He stressed the importance of reducing exam pressure and integrating English and technology subjects into the curriculum to prepare students for the workforce. Additionally, plans are underway to establish new vocational colleges and universities of the technology. These remarks were made during President Wickremesinghe's participation in the national program of distributing free school textbooks and uniforms at St. Anthony's Girls' College, Kolopitiya today. The distribution program extends to providing textbooks and official uniforms to students, monks and nuns across 10,126 schools and 822 pirivenas throughout the island. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that in 2022, the country faced a severe economic crisis that impacted every sector, including education. The inability to provide school textbooks and uniforms was a stark reality. He said that amidst the crisis, with no leaders stepping forward, he embraced the challenge to initiate economic recovery programs. The president said that he firmly advocates for education reforms and the creation of a new educational paradigm in the country. Our focus should be on nurturing professionals who can thrive in the global arena. To drive economic transformation, our education system must align with international standards, equipping students to compete effectively. By elevating exam pressures and incorporating English and technology subjects, the government aims to groom a workforce ready to the demands to the modern world. Plans are also underway to establish vocational colleges and technical universities to further this objective. None of us with too rigorous to dire state our country was in 2022 marked by long queues for gas, fuel and food. Our collective aspiration in for a security society form of such hardships. The President further said that the government steadfastly committed to building a resilient economy, ensuring never experience such turbulent times. The program to fortify Sri Lanka's economy is currently underway, driven by our unwavering determination. Minister Susil Premajan said that plans are underway to conduct the delayed GCE ordinary level exam and GCE advanced level exams by 2025 amidst the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and economic crisis. He added that the President is actively contributing to educational reforms to align the system with global standards, aiming to cultivate a generation of globally competitive children.
The official level discussions on the program to enhance the capacity of state sector through the Indo-Sri Lanka partnership are being held these days. Aim of these discussions is to make the state sector productively contribute to the economic growth of the country. At the early discussions held with the participation of Indo-Sri Lanka leaders, attention was focused to strengthen the bilateral relations. India is a country that has implemented a number of programs to build up the capacity of its civil services. Issuing an announcement, the President's media division says that aim of this move is to introduce the Indian-type programs here to enhance the efficiency and productivity of the state sector in Sri Lanka. Director General of the Indian National Centre for Good Governance, Bharat Lal, recently visited the island and held talks with the President and the Prime Minister. Eventually, a 14-member delegation headed by Prime Minister's Secretary Andra Dissanayake are holding talks in India these days. Digitalization, anti-corruption moves, facilitation of investment opportunities and many other matters are being discussed. The President's Media Division announces that the aim of this move is to construct institutional cooperation in order to upgrade the capacity of state institutions for the economic growth.
A discussion with the striking health trade union leaders say that they will take a final decision at this meeting whether to continue the strike. Due to the trade union action, patients throughout the island faced immense difficulties today as well. 72 trade unions in the health sector have joined in the strike since yesterday. They demand to pay a similar allowance paid to the doctors at present. Meanwhile, the government has issued a special gazette notification declaring the health services is an essential service. However, many patients who came to government hospitals for treatments had undergone many inconveniences due to the strike. In certain hospitals, majority of health staff reported for duty. In addition, members of the armed forces have also been deployed to maintain hospital activities. Meanwhile, the Government Medical Officers Forum said in a media briefing today, the President's decision to make the health service an essential service is commendable. President of the Government Medical Officers Forum, Dr. Rukshan Bellana, said that over 60% of the health employees have reported for duty. If the government let this strike to be continued for over 2 or 3 more days, over 90% of the health employees will come back for duties. The government must take stern decisions to dismiss the striking workers home. And meanwhile, Israeli Transport and Road Safety Minister Miri Regu says that cutting-edge innovative technology of Israel is very much important for the development of Sri Lanka's transport sector. He made these remarks at a discussion held with the Minister Dr. Bambula Gunawardena in Colombo today. The Israeli minister, who is now on a visit in the island, focused attention to many diplomatically important matters at this decision with Minister Dr. Bambula Gunawardena. Special attention was focused at the discussion to obtain Israeli modern technology and know-how for the development of Sri Lanka's transport, agriculture, industrial and manufacturing sectors. Over 10,000 Sri Lankan workers are engaging in employment opportunities in Israel under very high wages. The two ministers also discussed the matters pertaining to grant employment opportunities for Sri Lankan skilled workers in Israel. Israel expects to start a tourism aviation service and sea cargo services between Sri Lanka and Israel. Diplomatic officials, Sri Lankan top officials and many others were also present at this occasion. An all-night period chanting ceremony has been organized to mark the 42nd anniversary of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation.
Now, the national television specially prepares to invoke blessings to the institution, staff and the country through this religious event at the SLRC premises. The Spirit Chanting event takes place annually at the corporation lobby to mark its anniversary. The Spirit Chanting Mandapa is designed by the Set Department of the Rupavahini Corporation. This year, it's created with the motifs of traditional Sri Lankan fettuccine. The setback artist Nishantha Aludgangoda has created this special stage.
And meanwhile, renovations of 42 irrigational tanks in the Hambantota district have been completed at present. This program has been implemented under the Climatic Smart Irrigational Agriculture project. This project has been implemented with the aim of attracting young crowds for cultivation activities. An agricultural entrepreneur villages program has been started centering the remote areas in the Hambantota district. The aim of renovating the irrigational tank system in the district is to have sufficient water for the cultivations. The program is carried out under the assistance of the World Bank. Accordingly, 74 irrigational tanks that are nurtured mainly by rainwater will be renovated. Out of the amount, 42 tanks including the canals and ponds and anecots have been fully renovated at present. A sum of 2,064 million rupees have been estimated for this project. Out of this amount, 1,095 million rupees have been already spent by December last year. The farmers in the remote areas are able to use rainwater sparingly to continue their cultivations without any hindrance. The water capacity of these tanks have been subjected to 10-fold increase. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that the aim of this project is to attract youth in remote areas for agricultural activities. All these irrigational tanks have been renovated using modern technology. The roads in these areas have also been developed to transport agricultural produce effectively. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that the government is now devoid of planning development projects within air-conditioned rooms.
He stressed that the government's policy is to carry out rural development projects based on the needs of the people and listening to their views and opinions. Accordingly, each village will be developed in future.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga made these remarks at the Kegol District Secretariat participating in the District Coordination Committee meeting. It was held under the patronage of District Coordinating Committee Chairman Parliamentarian Rajika Wickremesinghe and Governor of the Sabaragama Province Naveen Disanaika. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga enlightened the officials regarding the Kandukara Dashuke development program at this meeting. The program will be implemented in 10 districts this year. A sum of 1,100 million rupees has been allocated for this program. State Minister Kanaka Herath and Taraka Balasuriya were also present at this occasion. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that a separate officer has been appointed in the ministry with regard to the Kandukara Dashuke program. A development program with regard to the lands over 200 feet in height has been implemented in Colombo. There is no proper development in the highlands of other areas. Therefore, this program has been implemented covering 89 divisional secretariat areas. The need of the rural people will be identified and implemented suitable development activities within this year.
The 73rd anniversary of the Sri Lanka Air Force is to be held in Jaffna this year. It has been organised under the titles of Sahayogi Pyapat. The Air Force anniversary falls on the 2nd of March. A number of programs have been organised at the Valley grounds in Jaffna in this connection. Air Tattoo 2024 Educational, Technological and Trade Exhibition will be held there from the 6th to the 10th of March. 73 selected schools in the north will be developed under in line with this event. 73,000 school books and same amount of saplings are to be distributed among these schools. The 26th Air Force Cycle Tour will be held for 5 days this year. The cycle race starts from the goal face green and ends in Jaffna under 5 stages. Sri Lanka-India Joint Air Force drill will also be held this year. Air Force Commander Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa expressed his views in this regard.
And meanwhile, the government has started a loan scheme titled Entrepreneur to purchase paddy harvest of this Baha season under the guidance of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Loans can be obtained through the People's Bank, Bank of Ceylon and Regional Development Bank. A sum of 9 billion rupees is to be released to small and medium-scale paddy mill owners and paddy warehouse owners under this loan scheme. Director General of President's Community Affairs Rajitha Kirti Tendakon said that under this loan, paddy mill owners and warehouse owners are able to get loans up to 50 million rupees at concessionary interest rates.
Now, the Japanese government has agreed to grant a donation of 2.8 billion rupees to install solar panel systems at selected hospitals in Sri Lanka. The relevant agreement and the transaction papers were signed in Colombo today. It was signed at the Ministry of Finance. Secretary of the Ministry, Mahinda Sirivardhana, signed on behalf of the Sri Lankan government, and Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Michikoshi Hideaki, signed it on behalf of the Japanese government. Headquarters Chief of JICA, Tanako Akihito, signed the donation papers of this agreement. Under this project, solar panel systems will be set up on the roof of Sri Javadharpura General Hospital and Ratnapura and Kurunagala teaching hospitals.
The 36th anniversary of Vijay will be held in Colombo New Town Hall on Friday at 16th at 2 p.m. Venerable Madhavpe Asaji Thera of the Jatika Sahudra Sansade says that all individuals who sacrifice their lives for the political philosophy of Vijay will be considered as February heroes. Venerable Madampagama Asajithera said that this Navam Viru Samarua has been organized to commemorate late Vijay Kumar Tonga and hundreds of his supporters who were killed by political opponents in the past. This commemoration program has been planned to socialize late Vijay Kumar Tonga's political thinking.
The inauguration of the newly launched website for the President's Fund, www.presidentsfund.gov.lk, took place today at the Presidential Secretariat, officiated by President Secretary Saman Ekanaika. This milestone grants the public access to update information regarding the services offered by the President's Fund in all 3 languages, along with the option to download the application for medical assistance. Senior Additional Secretary to the President and Secretary to the President's Fund, Sarat Kumar, and several others were present at this event.
Joining with Rupavahini News and moving ahead with more local stories, Chief Scouting Commissioner, Attorney at Law Janadipati Fernando says that their aim is to increase the membership of Sri Lanka Scouts Association up to 200,000 by the end of this year. The 10th National Scouting Jamboree will commence on the 22nd of this month. He made these remarks at a press briefing today in this connection. The Scouting movement was initiated in Sri Lanka in 1912 at the Christchurch, Colombo in Matale. Since then, the National Scouting Jamboree is held in every 4 years. This year, it will be held in Trincomalee with the participation of 11,500 local and 500 foreign scouts.
Now, Colombo District Health Services Director, Consultant Dr. Chandana Gajnaika says that the attention paid to control dengue menace should not be eased even the dry season weather condition. He points out that the dengue mosquito population may rise again in a short rainfall at any moment. Therefore, people must focus strong attention to keep their premises clean and free of mosquito breeding places.
වගකීම අපේ අරමුණයි. ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය සමග මෝටීන් ඩෙන්ගු නැති හැටක්.
Colombo District Health Services Director, Consultant Dr. Chandana Gajnaika said that although there is mainly a dry weather condition in the island, people should not give up the struggle against the dengue menace. Mosquito eggs can survive for some time even without water. Therefore, activities against the breeding of dengue mosquitoes should be continued. That's all the news we have from home. Stay tuned for international stories after this break.
என்ன பாத்துக்கதா ஆட்கள் இருக்காங்களே.
ஆனா என்னோட அம்மா பாத்துக்க வேண்டியது நான் தானே.
உன்னதமான இலக்குகளை மனதில் கொண்டு நீங்கள்
Welcome back with international stories. And millions of people across Indonesia's 17,000 islands and 3 time zones have now voted for their future president. Unofficial results predict a win for Defence Minister Prabowo Subianto, a former Special Forces commander, talked about allegations of human rights abuse and his appearances. It has prompted fear that Indonesia is in danger of siding back towards its authorization past. Ganjar Pranowo, whose party supported outgoing presidents Widodos to previous 2 campaigns, and Anies Baswedan, and also are in the running. Unofficial quick count results are beginning to trickle, it showing Prabowo in the lead, but if no one secures a simple majority, a runoff vote will be held in June.
Now, nearly 500,000 homes were left without power in Australian state of Victoria after a storm knocked out parts of the network. Wild weather ripped through large parts of regional Victoria and Melbourne yesterday afternoon, bringing golf ball-sized hail, flash flooding and severe winds. 500,000 households in Victoria are without electricity and trains have been suspended across metropolitan Melbourne after a power station went down during storms. All 4 units at AGL's Loy Yang, a power station in the Latrobe Valley, has shut down on a day when temperatures were soaring in Victoria. One dairy farmer was killed and authorities suspect he was struck by flying debris while on a tractor. The storms, which brought heavy hail and strong winds to Victoria and saw the temperature plummet 15 degrees, also wreaked havoc on the state's public transport system, with half of the Melbourne's 16 metropolitan train lines partly suspended as commuters began to make their way home from the Melbourne CBD. Nawaz Sharif and Bilawal Bhutto, Sadrin's parties in Pakistan, have reached a deal to form a government after last week's disputed election.
Bhutto's Pakistan People's Party said it would help Sharif's Pakistan Muslim League elect a Prime Minister. The two parties were previously in a coalition that ousted Imran Khan from power in 2022. He is now in jail. At the time, independent candidates backed by his PTI unexpectedly won the most seats. PPP leader Asif Ali Zardari stated that although his party and the PMLN had contested elections against each other, they had come together in the interests of the nation. The results, in which independents backed by the PTI took 93 after 266 directly elected seats, had left voters uncertain about which parties would form the next government.
Now, foreign tourists must now pay a 150,000 rupiah levy to enter Bali, one of the world's most popular tourist destinations. Indonesian authorities say this is aimed at protecting the island's environment and culture. Bali is known for its pristine beaches and surfing waves, as well as its beautiful landscapes. Official data shows that almost 4.8 million tourists visited Bali between January and November last year. The tourist tax, which was first announced last year, came into effect from Wednesday, Valentine's Day. It applies to foreign tourists entering the province from abroad or other parts of the country, with domestic Indonesian tourists exempt. Travelers are urged to pay up before arrival through the Love Bali website. Tourism contributed some 60% to Bali's annual GDP before the pandemic.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kotumi! Stay safe and share the hot and spicy.
On sports news, Sri Lanka won the final ODI match against Afghanistan by 7 wickets played at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium and clinched the 3-match series 3-0. Pathu Misanga scored 118 runs.
Winning the toss, Afghanistan decided to bat first. Wanidu Hasaranga and Mahesh Dekshana did not play for this match. Instead, Akila Dhananjay and Dunit Velalage were added to the team. Rahmat Shah scored 65 runs for Afghanistan innings. Azmatullah Omraze scored 54 runs, and in bowling, Pramod Badushan claimed 3 wickets for 45 runs. Dunit Velalage, Akila Dhananjay and Asita Fernando claimed 2 wickets each.
Oh, brilliant fielding. Direct hit, gets the man. How good was that? Avishka Fernando. This time, Akila Dhananjay in his second over. That's a wrong one. Take a net slip. He's so good with it. 10.
Prima Kotumi, share the hot and spicy love every day. Prima Kotumi, Pantamai, Pantamai.
News, we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on ChannelEye. I'm Dulanjali, together with Charita, signing off. Good night.
Have a pleasant night.